the Monroe County Reporters. Here are your hosts, Jason Harwood and Jacob Litton.
Welcome to another episode of Talking Grit. I am Jason Harwood. With me is my buddy Jacob Litton. Lions win. It's great to have a victory Monday, but I don't know how great I feel. How about you, Jacob?
I was just gonna say this strangely feels unsettling for a victory Monday, right?
Yeah. I gotta tell you, like just in the stadium, and I gotta admit, I was not feeling my best yesterday, and I'm still not feeling that great right now. But uh I, I don't know if it was like how I was feeling or if the game. I was just like like at some point I was like, even when we come back to win this, because I felt like we were gonna do that, I was like, I am not gonna feel good about much of this game. It's gonna be a relief when we win, and thank God we did come back and win. But that's just the way I felt. Like I'm not gonna feel great after this game, even if we win.
Agreed. I mean, that was the case when it was 10-0. As soon as it went 10-0, like when the first quarter ended and it was like, that's where it was. It's like this, we're still gonna win. In my head, it's like we're still gonna win this game, but this is ugly, and we're gonna have to talk about how bad that first quarter was.
Yeah,
Did not anticipate the rest of the game going the same way. We were lucky to escape with a victory.
yeah. I would say luck is 100% on the docket there. It was just in the stadium, like, the unbelief of people were getting very unrestless. There were some boo birds out, especially when the offense would not.
Can you blame him? I mean, I'm sure
Uh,
you didn't participate, but he couldn't have been surprised that it was happening.
no, I did not. No, I don't know if I've ever booed one of my teams at home. I'm not saying that they've never
Right,
deserved it,
right.
but I just don't really find it that helpful at all for the
Right.
situation.
It's weird that it's happening this team in 2025.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's deserved, but I mean, at the
Well,
same time, I could see some people doing that.
yeah. So my question is, we had talked about this before. And I'm gonna just lead this right off. Like, I didn't believe the Lions were able to be a part of a trap game. Like, I just didn't think that was part of their DNA. But the way this game was playing, especially on the defensive side of the ball, it really feels like they were not prepared. Do you have that same feeling, or is that just me? Or
It's hard to come away with this game not feeling that way. I mean, if you dissect everything closely, they just had a lot of plays. They had a few trick plays. They had a lot of plays on third down. They just had a lot of things that just kept these drives going. And you can point to those couple plays and say they were the drive extenders, but you don't give up, what was it, 512 yards? You don't give
yeah,
up those on fluke or by accident.
yeah,
Yes, a few plays extended these drives and caused these things, but you're right. Something was off. And I don't want to say it was a trap game. I really don't feel that way, which is even more concerning going into a short week with Green Bay, is because I feel like we, are operating business as usual. We weren't operating as if, we're going to blow this team out of the water. Let's just take it easy.
yeah. I was just wondering, like, Packers are right around the corner. We know how big that game is going to be and still is. Uh, and it just felt like the defense wasn't prepared. And if anything, I felt the best about this defense on any phase of this team, and they played very, very bad yesterday. Like, I mean, it's probably rude of me to say embarrassingly bad, but that's the way I felt in the stadium. I was just like, I think I probably even text you. I'm like, this is embarrassing,
Yeah.
to do this. And we had ridiculed the Bears and the Packers for both playing the Giants close. And honestly, I mean, the Bears game was kind of close. None of them took it to overtime. The Bears game, they brought Russell Wilson in. I think this team is better with Jameis Winston in there, and he took all the risks. And we luckily got the one pick, but beyond that, like they took a lot of big risk plays, and they paid off for them.
I mean, they've lost, is it 5 games after having double digit leads in the fourth quarter?
Yeah. Hmm.
But it's not really fair to sit here in hindsight and say maybe this Giants team wasn't all bad to begin with, when, we should have got the job done. We should have handled them way better than we did. We moved the ball easily enough that should have been the case the whole game, and we've got to be able to count on our defense for a stop or two, and that just didn't happen.
Yeah,
and especially on third down again. We'll get into it later, but I mean, it just is a nightmare.
it was. It was bad, and I could tell you, like, so from my standpoint in the stands, it was really bad because you could see guys wide open, and you're like, oh my god. If he gets the ball over to him, it's done. At least on TV, you can't really see that because they got the camera focus on the quarterback. For me, I'm like, watch that, but then you could just see guys streaking wide open. I'm like, oh God. And he unfortunately they didn't hit all those shots, but they hit it way more than the Lions defense should have let up.
Agreed.
All right. Before we move into the individual units, we'll talk a little bit about the transactions. Not much to talk about here. The Lions waived safety Eric Hallett and linebacker Ty Summers. Both those guys might be coming back to the practice squad. We'll see how that lines up this week. But we did activate two quarterbacks, Khalil Dorsey and DJ Reed. DJ Reed did get played in the game. I think it was like 30 some snaps, so they kind of eased him into it. Probably also thinking that he's going to play again on Thursday, and he hasn't played in a while, so they didn't want to play him so much. So it was good to get his feet wet. We're gonna need to be playing better in the secondary against this Packer team that likes to throw it up, just like the Giants did, right? And we got to be ready for that. We elevated tight end Anthony Fursker, for Ferkser, sorry, and from the practice squad, and I'm betting that that's going to happen again. I know the injury report came out today, which was weird. On Monday, the injury report came out because they're playing, and Brock Wright was estimated to have a no practice. So I'm expecting Ferkser to be brought up again. And this is an alliance transaction, but the Giants fired their defensive coordinator Shane Bowen today, after giving up another fourth quarter lead. I would say yes, he probably deserves that, but there was also some head coaching calls that might have affected that too. Going forward on fourth down instead of going up by a touchdown at the end. There was some. I don't think it was all on the defensive coordinator, on that. The Giants could have won that with some, just better head coaching calls, situational play calls, I thought.
Right, but it's not like they left them with a shorter field or left them with the odds against them. And it
Yeah.
definitely was not just this game.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was
Yeah.
bad. I mean, it's been bad all season for them, and uh some of those comebacks were with Jackson Dart and when they had Scatterboo. This was, they didn't have any. They didn't have their starting running back. They didn't have their starting quarterback. I mean, it no, it was embarrassing. It was bad. All right, one thing that probably was this is probably our best special teams game, I would say, on a whole. I think I felt really good about special teams in this game. We finally got a return right that set up a field goal right before halftime. That was Khalif Raymond. Finally, I mean, 44-yard return. We've been asking for that. Jack Fox punts were so good inside the 10, and it should have locked the Giants down. It didn't, but it should have locked them down, being way down there.
All that did was enable them to add more yards to their total.
Yeah, and that's what I would get to when we give up the total yards. A lot of it was that they had these long fields. The problem is that we just didn't stop them. So um, they were able to take advantage of that. Now, Jake Bates obviously hit the 59-yarder to send an OT. When that, I don't know what your view at home. I don't know what I didn't watch the home copy. Did you think did it look like it was going in all the way? Because I know the shot behind, I don't know what shot they used, but the shot behind him definitely looked like he was going to miss, and then it bounced right through.
Yeah, I wasn't so sure. It wasn't as bad as like the replay that I saw, I don't think. But for those of you that don't know, I'm constantly refreshing my phone during the moments on like the score app because I need it to be ruined for me. I can't watch it happen live if I know it's already existed. So I texted Jason the second we hit fourth down. I said, please spoil this for me.
Yeah.
Win or lose, whether it goes in or out, I want to know ahead of time. And Jason left on red and left me hanging, watch it live. Luckily, it went in. It did not. I don't think it looked like a foregone. It wasn't one of those that you hit and you're like, okay, thank God, like as it's in the air. I mean, it took a second. It wasn't like the Texans one where you're waiting until like it hits the net.
Yeah.
But yeah, the replays looked really bad, the curve on it, but
Yeah.
thank God.
I was also surprised on the distance on it too, because I know he could kick it further than that, and it didn't. I mean, it didn't. I mean, it comfortably went over the crossbar, but not as comfortable as I know he could kick that.
Right.
I
don't know.
You know,
You seen those
he hit
Buffalo
another.
Wild Wings commercials where the guys got the total control on the ball, they're just wiggling it and trying to make it
Oh
look
yeah,
good.
yeah,
This is
exactly.
must see
Or
TV for overtime.
man, that was that. Yeah, that the replay on it was sickening. For the Giants players, all thought they won, that they had stuck their arms up, and then actually, there's really funny replay. It's number 95. Like even after the Giants, some of the Giants players saw it go through, he never turned around. He just assumed they lost, and then he was wondering why the Lions were celebrating, and he had his arms up in the air, and then he looked back and realized that that had curved back in. It was insane.
Well, that's embarrassing for him.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that he said today. All right. Let's move over. Let's talk about the defense first. You want to talk about those comments on Hutch, so let's start there.
Yeah, I just thought that was a good talking point and something that, it got a lot of traction on Twitter and everything. So I just want to know your thoughts being there. So the Giants offensive tackle, I think it's Jermaine Illuminor, he actually said this too, like a beat writer. And basically talking about Hutch said that he did not do a damn thing all game. And, he took a shot at him too. Like he strikes me as somebody that's going to celebrate that one play, that one sack, when basically alluding to the fact that he held Hutch in check the whole game and that Hutch didn't do anything the whole game except for that game-winning sack, and that he's celebrating the sack when he shouldn't be celebrating anything. So I just want to know what your thoughts were when you read that right away. I mean, I had to double check because I was like, this is clearly a troll. There's no way that this was actually said. And then I looked, I was like, okay, no, he really said this to a reporter. So what are your thoughts here? I mean,
it's sour grapes. I mean, 100%. Hutch had 6 QB hits. It's the game-winning sack. Why wouldn't he celebrate that? Like, what? It's not like we know Hutch. Like that guy's sour grapes. He, okay, so he didn't get a sack the rest of the game. We also know that he didn't say he was on an island with Hutch. That's No one leaves Hutch on an island. You're going to get beat every time. There was a tension set over there. Whatever. And he's also, let's just call it for what it is. He false started like a million times in that game that they never called. Like it was bad. Like when I could see it live in the stadium, like Preston and I are sitting next to each other, and we're just like, that's another false start. It was getting really ridiculous. Like he would take, he was like a half a beat behind them actually hiking the ball, and he did it multiple times during the game. So if you're gonna cheat, do that, then to beat Hutch, then okay. Uh, did Hutch have his best game ever? No. Um, do I think Hutch was lazy or did do everything in his power? No, I don't believe that either. Hutch is an amazing player, and he just commands so much attention. And it's on the Lions for the other guys to step up. It just is. And I will say though, on that sack, Ali McNeil from the inside made that sack possible because he just drove his guy right back into Jameis. Jameis had to move, and then Hutch, got around his guy and then came up for the sack. So what did you think about the comments?
Oh, yeah, like I said, I thought it was a troll job right away, but I mean, I don't honestly. So watching it live, the false start thing I think happened after Hutch jumped off sides. So Hutch timed the play clock on that one play, and then when it hits 0, he jumps and goes. And I mean, it was borderline delay a game, but they called, the offsides on Hutchinson, and I think that's when that started. Is he was like, I've got to get a quicker jump on him. Yeah, so he was jumping early, but anyway, I felt better when he was lined up over him because the other side when he was over Andrew Thomas, who's the left tackle, I didn't feel like he had as much success. And I feel like something like the running back was able to chip him a little bit easier, or it was working better when he was rushing from that side. But when he was over Illuminor, I feel like is when he was getting his pressures. And I mean, Illuminor was like in Jameis Winston's lap like several times. So the fact that he's, talking openly talking trash like that is crazy to me.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, you can say, oh, he's going to celebrate this one play. He won the game.
Exactly.
And I mean, what is he going to say? Like, well, you should have beat us by more? No, you're not going to say that. That might be true. They shouldn't have come down to that, yes. But I mean, that's what it came down to. Big time players make big time plays,
Yep.
And you're right. Aleem blows it up. He's got to step up. He does. Jameis has to run out of the pocket a little bit. So it's not like it was just a one-man show that Hutch got that sack. No, but I mean, he made the play.
Exactly.
And then the other thing, people are calling for hip drop. It's like he does not touch, which I corrected somebody online right away. But the key part of a hip drop tackle is that you land on that guy's legs. And he's on the side of Jameis so that he doesn't do that. So, yes, he's using his body weight, but he does not land on his legs. That's why that's not a penalty.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. I mean, he does drop his hips, and Hutch does tackle like that, but you got to, the key part to it is that you have to land on their legs. That's where the injury risk comes into risk. You're going to tear up someone's ankle or twist their knee on that, but no, he doesn't do that. He takes them right to the ground. I tell you what, I was scanning that field for a flag after that. After that, though, not because of like I thought it was a hip drop or anything like that, just because was there something in the secondary that I didn't miss? Like this.
That's what happens to us. Illegal contact by somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. But we did give up 517 yards of offense, 395 yards of passing. That makes me sick to my stomach. 122 yards rushing. We let up 8 for 16 on third downs, and they were 1 for 3 on fourth down. And
I mean, the third downs were huge, and they were not just quick third down plays. We gave up 164 yards on third down. 2 touchdowns, and one of them was the pass interference on Branch that extended the field.
Yep.
39-yard touchdown, 12-yard touchdown, pass interference. They also had another 39-yard pass, a 30-yard pass, a 20-yard pass.
Yep.
So it wasn't like, third and long, you're getting just enough yards. No, these are chunk plays. They're switching the field.
Yeah, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people with 20+ yard plays or more. 6 different receivers get 20+ get explosives on us. That should never happen. And the way we played it, I know the Eagles offense is, struggling a little bit here and there, but the way we locked them down, it was like I was expecting us to just be able to do that for the most part against the Giants. And frankly, once we started putting some pressure on Jameis in the second half is when he started, he threw the interception. He started to miss his spots a little bit. And what them getting up early allowed him to settle in a little bit. And then, we also had multiple blown coverages in that game that were just like tough to swallow. It was just really, really bad. It was very uncharacteristic of this team. And I don't think it's necessarily going to move forward like that. And I hope not, but we can't afford it to, especially on Thursday.
Exactly. And I mean, we've been praising the secondary with the backups and everything have been playing really well. And then in the worst way, they really did not show up. I know we're still without Kirby. Harper was out there for, I think, all but one snap, wasn't it? But Harper's also the one. Harper's the one that bit on that trick play. He bites on that run and lets Wan'Dale Robinson right by him, and that's a 39-yard touchdown that could have been prevented. Yep. Not to say that Kirby's perfect, but I mean, if he sticks with his man right there, then that doesn't happen, and maybe that's an interception for Kirby instead.
Yep.
We're relying on Arthur Mollett for a few like big time third down or big time snaps. I know he gave up the touchdown to Hodgins.
I'd also
and
say
that's those situations out there.
Amik got burned a few times too. I thought I didn't really think that Amik had his best game either. And then Branch I know had that illegal hit, which is certainly a helmet to helmet hit. I don't know. People around me trying to say he led with the shoulder. No, it was like the clearest helmet to helmet.
That was vicious, man. I posted that online. That was bad.
Yeah,
and he was already falling down. It was not necessary. I know it's a bang bang play, but then you do hit him with your shoulder, and then it's easier. Like,
you
just can't.
I think the receiver's head fell down into his the target zone because he was he was like falling down. But
Mhm.
Branch has just got to go. I mean, he's just trying for the big hit, trying to dislodge that ball. But it that
I've told you for
he's
the
got to
last
get.
few weeks now, there's something going on. Like without Kirby back there, it just seems like there's something about Brian Branch that's like uninspired.
Mhm.
I can't put my finger on it. It's not that he's necessarily playing bad, but he's just been kind of like average or subpar. He's not seeing that intensity that we usually see out of him. And I don't know
Yeah.
if it's just Kirby not being back there, if it's them, scheme wise, they're trying to do different things or whatever with him just to, offset the fact that we're without Terrion and Kirby. I don't know.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that myself. That Branches doesn't seem to be playing himself. He's even acknowledged it in interviews. Dan Campbell kind of tried to blow that off, but it's very apparent to me that he is not being as much of a game changer as we need. And I'm wondering if Kirby, you're right, you might be onto something there with the fact that Kirby's not there. Maybe Branch feels like he needs to do more, or maybe he needs he's not playing as free as if Kirby's back there because he trusts Kirby more. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but that's
Between
that's
him
what
or
I'm
the
thinking.
coaching staff is what I was kind of saying too, is like maybe the play calling or his responsibilities are changing because Kirby's not there.
Hmm.
And you're
That's
right.
true.
I think I liked what you just said, the freedom where he's able to move around and the stuff that he's able to make those plays and do things like that. That's not there right now.
Hmm.
Really
Yeah.
hoping Kirby's back for Green Bay.
Yes. He didn't. So they put him as a no practice today. So we'll see. But yeah, I was hoping that they held him out of this last game, just to keep him ready for this game. Regardless, in a couple weeks with the Cowboys, I hope Kirby's back with Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and that offense. We really need Kirby back there playing because Dak will throw it up, and we got to have our ball hawk back there. One thing I
I mean,
will
we've
say,
got the Cowboys, the Rams, the Steelers. Those are the games coming up. Those are all pretty good passing offenses that we need him out there for.
yeah, exactly. And we're out of the playoff picture right now. I mean, we're in the picture, but we're not in the playoffs. So, little, we got to start, taking some chances here. Hopefully Kirby can come back. One thing I will say, the red zone defense was pretty good. We held them 1 for 3, stopped them on that, you know, I think the second score of the game, they got a field goal. That was the fourth goal from the 3. And then at the end of the game, when they decided to go for it and, just basically, put the game away as opposed to getting a field goal. What would you have went for the touchdown there, just the kill shot, or like if it was
If
Dan
I'm the
Campbell and
Giants or if I'm the Lions,
if you're flipped over, say it's Dan Campbell making that call, what do you think?
I know our
Would
team. I know the way we play. We want to put that game away. But I
yeah,
think that was the mistake. That was the crucial error that the Giants made, is that they kind of forgot what was going on. They felt good about the way their offense was moving the ball. Uh, I think they maybe were a little bit too confident in their defense, or the fact that, because at that point too, we only had one timeout left. We had burned our other timeouts. So we had
yep,
one timeout left. They're thinking, okay, they got to drive, 50 yards or whatever to have a realistic shot at a field goal here. Let's just go for it and try to, ice the game now. I think that's a terrible call for the Giants. If you're going to go like they were, they were on the 3-yard line. They were up 10-0 and they went for the field goal. But that was 7-0, right? And they went up for the field goal to go up to
yeah,
10.
they went up 10-0 after that field goal.
Right. So they just took the points there. But then when it's the fourth quarter, the game is on the line. You're a little bit further away, and now you're going to go for it instead of just taking those points and forcing a touchdown. I mean, that was a critical error on their part. I think they kind of, the moment got too big for him. Kafka, trying to make something happen. They were 2-8. They're going for broke. They're playing a good team on the road. They've got us up against the ropes. They're going for the kill, and they missed.
Yeah. I think for the Giants, it's the right move. What do they got to gain? You know what I mean? Like,
I
I
strongly disagree.
you think so? I mean, they've won 2 games. Like, you, I don't know.
True. But
It,
I mean, you're
it,
setting yourself up for another win. You're going up by 6. You're forcing us to score a touchdown.
no, I
And our
think,
offense has been shaky.
yeah, I get it. It's been shaky, but
Maybe it helps the kickoff. Maybe it helps that we did have that kickoff at the end of the first half. Because up to that point, our kickoffs were not, or our kick returns were not really a threat either. So
Yeah.
in their head, they probably could have just kicked it deep and had us go just almost as long of a field with one timeout left, and then we've got to score. We can't kick a field goal.
Yeah. I think the Lions, the position they're in, I would have rather had them kick the. I would have had them kick the field goal, and I think that the Giants, like, I think at the point that they just were, they only won 2 games. I think they're going for the kill shot, just try to put it out, and I get it. I could go either way, but I think I wasn't surprised in the stadium. I told Preston, I was like, I think they're going to go for it on 4th down, and they did, and I'm glad they did because that only we only
Right.
had to get down to field goal range. So that was good.
But
But
if it's 4th and 2 or 3, like if it's close like that, then I think the odds go up significantly, and then
Yeah.
it's more of a closer call to go for it. I
Yeah.
will say in overtime, when we scored, I told JJ and Milo, I was like, we've got to stop them because if they score, they're not going for an extra point. If they score, they're going for 2.
Yep. Yeah,
And
I
that would
leaned
be
over to
100% the
Preston
right
and I
call.
asked that, and Preston was like, "I was just thinking that same exact thing," and I was like, "They're definitely gonna go for 2."
That's when you go for broke. That's when you put everything on the line right there. It's this play or nothing. Not
Yep.
when you're in a good position to win like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. I wanted to. Roy Lopez played another fantastic game. He had the knockdown pass. He just seems to be all over the field, getting 30 snaps. Tyleek was in there quite a bit, 45 snaps, so 55% snaps. So we were getting him up there. Muhammad is still only getting like 31 snaps, and I have, and I'm wondering if Davenport come back, if Muhammad's going to see even sharper decline in his snaps, which is too bad. They obviously don't trust him early down in the early downs. He's playing mostly in the pass rushing downs. I don't know. What I know you love Muhammad. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't get it. Don't get it at all. But I mean, it is what it is. They've been moving Aleem and having Aleem outside more. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I know that it's like we got to get these guys on the field, but yesterday, for sure, we were getting pressure, but it was just taking way too long to get there, and that was allowing those guys to get open deep. And, um, you uh, I can't help but think about the Packers coming up on Thursday because this is a game that I've been like super excited about, and we need this game. But they like to throw the ball up, and we can't play that same game on Thursday. We need to get Jordan Love, you know, we need to get some pressure on him and don't allow him to get out of the pocket. Like we're gonna have to be very careful in the rush lanes, and this was not a good look coming into that game.
right. We can't rush 3 and let Jordan Love pick us apart.
No, no. At least Tucker Kraft won't be there, and he's their outlet. But if he's passing so far down the field, it's not going to matter. So I'm hoping that we clear that up because that was really bad. That was not something I was expecting going on in that game at all. They got the first one, that trick play, and I was like, oh, that's the one we're going to give up. And then it just kept
Right.
happening and happening and happening, and it was not fun.
Yeah, I was okay with that first one. I was like, if that's how they're going to score is off these fluke trick plays, then that be that as it may, it's whatever. But yeah,
And then the trick play to Jameis Winston, who makes that catch and then breaks the tackle and scores a touchdown. That was sickening too. Barnes out there.
that was really the point where I was just in shock too. Like, I guess the whole game I was really in shock. But to see him kind of stiff arm Derek Barnes, like terrible coverage, and then he's going to stiff arm him out of the way. I didn't realize until today. I think Colton Pouncey was on the posted it that Derek Barnes was rushing. So Derek Barnes is rushing, and then he sees Jameis leak out. So he stops what he's doing, and then he's got to turn and go after Jameis. That's why he was not turned around. Because I said live, I was like, if he turns around, he's going to intercept that ball. I don't understand why he's playing Jameis like that. Well, it's because he was not supposed to be on Jameis. Obviously, you're not covering the quarterback like that, but and then but to miss the tackle, to kind of get juked stiff arm, that's embarrassing.
Yeah. I meant to Tyleek a bit earlier. That first trick play, Tyleek almost got the pass to win to Jameis because he read that play very early on, went right straight towards Jameis, was almost in, like, with the running back, threw it back over to Jameis. Like, he was almost there to intercept that, but then he got blocked. Like, one of the offensive linemen, I don't know if it was a tackle or guard, pushed him out of the way just at the last second, enough to clear enough room for Jameis to throw that. But Tyreek read that play. The line read the play very well. It was the back end that just, blew that.
Right.
So, anything else on the defense that you want to talk about?
No, I'm ready to move on.
All right, let's move on to the offense. First thing first, let's just talk about Jared Goff getting kicked in the head. That's infuriating. Uh, I don't know how that's not a penalty. I know it was not on purpose. I
Right.
don't believe that it was intentional, but I don't know how that's not a penalty.
I'm on the other side of this, like watching it live. I seen it happening. I seen him celebrating. I think Goff sold it. He did not get kicked as hard as he kind of flung himself backwards. I mean, yes, he's celebrating the play. There's incidental contact. It's not like he stomps on him. And he's clearly like he's lifting his foot up. He's almost doing like the LeBron, the lift up. I don't think that was done intentional on purpose. And I think this is just one of those things where it wasn't called, so Lions fans are irritated about it. Had that been called, I think the rest of the league would have been irritated. Like, you can't even touch the quarterback anymore. It's not incidental contact. I mean, and I've got it in slow motion. It's not a hard hit. People online are acting like he just straight up field goal practice kicked him in the face. He barely touches
I don't
him.
believe
He
it's like
barely
that.
gets
I
him.
still think it's a penalty. You're celebrating and you kick the quarterback. Like, you got to get most of those guys move out of the way first before they do their celebrating. I disagree. I think it's a penalty. It should have been a penalty.
If anything, if they're going to call taunting, you can't celebrate too close to the player as he's on the ground. You could have did taunting maybe, but to say unnecessary roughness on that is wild to me. I just am like so far the other way.
Okay. And that's fine. And you're so used to being wrong that it's okay for me, and I'm used to this. But
I didn't even think it was a controversy. I was like, this is incidental. This is something like Goff tries to sell it. I haven't heard him talk about it. I haven't seen anything about that. But I mean, I was like, oh, he tried to sell it a little bit. It's over with. I did not envision the anger online or the comments on YouTube about this. Lions fans really wanted, they thought that was malicious and they wanted a flag. Nearly everybody else thinks it was not a flag, though.
Yeah, and that's okay. And I saw an equally one that was, I thought, like, it was ridiculous that Caleb Williams was hit. I don't know if you saw this. Someone posted online like, this is a late hit. Caleb Williams was like 3 yards inbound, and this guy got killed online. Like, he's like, every other quarterback gets this call. Like, no quarterback gets this call. If you're in the field of play, you can get hit. But yeah, I think it should have been a penalty, but also I don't think it's like it was on purpose or anything like that. I just think that if you're celebrating, you get away from the quarterback. I don't know what he was doing. All right, let's just talk about Gibbs. Since Barry Sanders, that was the most electric running back performance I have seen in a Lions uniform. It was unreal being in the stadium, especially the overtime run. Like, all the touchdowns were away from me, Jacob. So my end zone was kryptonite for the Lions. Everything was away from me. But the cool thing about that was, like, I could see this lane open up, and then you could just, like, once he got past, like, up to like where the linebackers were, you knew he was gone. And it was both exciting and like unreal, like, the same time. 69-yard, like, one play. I looked at, like, 12 seconds had run off the clock, and the Giants were already getting the ball. That was just wild to me.
Yes, I can only imagine. Seeing it on TV, it was funny because I posted the clips online, and JJ was like, why does it look like he's moving? Why does it look like it's sped up? Like he's moving faster than everybody. It's like, it's because he is moving faster than everybody. Their safeties, I don't know if that's, I don't know how you could blame the defensive coordinator, but the safeties could not cover the run. Linebackers weren't doing a very good job of plugging the holes. The safeties had no chance. There was the one play where they tackled him at like the 3-yard line. Then he caught the touchdown right after that.
Mm-hmm.
All these other big runs most of them were up the middle. Just get past, get that second level, and then you're gone. I mean, Brock Wright had a good block. Saint had a good block. That allowed Panay to get to the next level. That's bad news. Panay touches his guy, and then he's got his hands up showing touchdown when he's 50 yards away from the end zone. Just an electric play.
Yeah, it was so loud in there at that moment. I just was in awe of like that he ran that, and then it's like realized he's got over 200 yards rushing at that point, and it was crazy. 249 yards runs and a 69-yard run, right? I mean, that's. I mean, I don't think Barry Sanders had ever had 3 runs of that magnitude in a game. I know he had like 2 80-yarders in a game. I remember seeing, but it was just unbelievable.
We'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, that's really cool that you got to be at that game, because this is the one bright spot of everything that went wrong. Can at least have this to come away from and be happy about. That Gibbs really showed out. And, it wasn't just the runs were electric, obviously, but it wasn't just the running game. His ability in the receiving game kept these drives going. That's what enabled us to get down there and even kick the field goal. He had 11 catches for 45 yards in the touchdown. And that touchdown was sweet. I mean, it was easy. Goff kind of just had to lob it up. But, he had to catch it and then do that dive over the pylon. Just unreal game from Gibbs.
Yep.
Put the league on notice, too. Whoever wasn't, aware of what he can do, they know now.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's no way he's not getting offensive player of the week. I mean, that is just unbelievable amount of touchdowns. And what was really awesome too, Jacob, is that I have him in both my fantasy leagues, so that was amazing amount of points for me.
I've got him in my dynasty league, so I got to celebrate that. I also have Jameson Williams in my dynasty league, and he did not get anything done this week.
He should have.
Graham screwed him out of
a catch. He had a good catch.
Graham screwed him out of the catch. Yeah.
Graham Graham didn't even need to be up there that early. There was
nobody around. I don't understand. It makes me wonder, like, is it just something like, do they try to do that to get away with it? Like, is that something that happens more often than not and they just don't usually call it? Or was that just really that obvious? I mean, Graham was like 5 yards down the field. Like, what are you doing?
I know. Yeah, and I could understand you want to get out there and you want to clear space for JMO, but when you watch the replay,
the rule.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I understand, but you're right. Like, how often does it get called? We don't, it's not like I'm analyzing every play and have statistics on like, well, that happens on 55% of plays, and they just happen to call it this play.
Right, and it might be something like, hey, when did the ball leave his hand? Was he really downfield?
Yeah,
it could be something that their coach like, hey, give it a second, get going, cheat up a little bit, and more often than not, they don't call it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming because of how blatant it was.
Yeah, unless the timing was off, you could see like maybe Graham has an internal clock and they've run that play in practice, and then by that time JMO's out of his break, or maybe he got knocked at the line. I'm not really sure, but it sucked because that puts us inside the 10, right? And then
it was third down.
Yeah, so that was frustrating. That JMO didn't get that. The other frustrating thing is that everyone's kind of worried about, and I'm in that boat too, is Amon-Ra just not securing all the catches. I mean, something we've just taken for granted since he's been in, since he's been in the league, is that if you get it in his hands, he's going to come it down with it. But I mean, his drop rate is not like terrible or anything like that, but it's not Amon-Ra. It's not all pro level drop level. And one of the drops, wasn't a perfect pass, but it caused an interception. And we were in field goal range, so that cost us points on that one. So that was frustrating.
Yeah, that's the one that hurts. I mean, he's had some big third and fourth down now, like just drops on catches that he usually makes. But this is the first time he's had one like that where it kind of went through his hands and caused a turnover. And we've already talked about it several times, but now I think it's a hot subject is just the fact, like, what is going on. We've talked about the wrist injury maybe, or they asked him about it and he said it just he wasn't expecting the ball to come in that hot. I guess he
Yeah.
just wasn't ready for Goff. Like, when he threw it, how hard he threw it, where it was at. It just all, it was all wrong. It just looked really bad. And obviously the result of the play was really bad for us.
Yeah. I have a feeling that just overall, because of the offensive line, our timing is just off. And that's what it seems like, is like the ball's getting there before Amon-Ra expects it, or it's not put in the perfect spot because Jared Goff is kind of, he's having to adjust a little bit, and he's either, he's getting pressured and he's throwing it, or he's afraid that we're going to get pressure. He's just like, his clock seems a little bit sped up. And my feeling is that it's probably a little bit of Amon-Ra's wrist not being 100%, 100% strength, and then also the second thing is the timing. And I think that's where it's at, is just the timing issue is just not 100%. We got time to fix that. And it's one thing that I came away from this is um I watched Sunday Night Football, and I'm sure you did too, and the Rams just look like they're the best team in the NFL right now, a clear cut best team. But I also know it's November, yesterday was November 23rd when they played. There's still a lot of time to get in the playoffs. And at some point last year, we looked like world beaters, right? We were looking like we were going to just walk all over this thing. And, you know, things can happen. Injuries can come up. People get off rhythm. Um, people figure out what you're doing, and then, have a good defensive plan towards that. The thing is that, like, Stafford's playing at a super high level. He's able to get the ball out quick. He's got lots of weapons, so that they're going to be just tough to beat. Um, but I think
Yeah.
that we have time to grow. Like, I don't think it's over, and I don't think that we're stuck at this level. And we have not played our best game yet. And I hope we're running out of time for that to happen in the season. But if we had played our best game and we still aren't looking good, then I'm more worried. Then we're not playing our best game. Like, talent level, we should be able to, be on par with the top teams in this league. We just haven't played all three levels the same week. We have all three levels have not excelled, and when they do, it's going to be electric.
Right. Just got to get all of them on the same page at the same time.
Right.
I do want to say just something I noticed about Goff too is it just feels like every time he gets rocked, whether that's an actual sack or if he just takes a really good shot, that's when the ball starts coming out faster, and that's when these interceptions and things happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always that he's pressured on the play when he throws an interception, but he got sacked like right before that pick. And when those big hits happen like that, that's when he's like that internal clock. He's like in panic mode almost. And maybe that's why he fired that one off just a little bit too soon. The timing was off. We do have our Sika playing guard right now. So it's not like we have our, full starting line the same way that it was before. Decker is battling injuries. Panay's battling injuries, So it's just not all on the same page. We're not full strength. And we do have time to figure it out, but we don't have any other games on the schedule there's no more. This is the only one that we could have looked like this and won in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every other
I
game
think Minnesota. I think we could do it Minnesota maybe on Christmas.
We already did it against Minnesota. We lost against Minnesota.
I know that, but I'm just saying, looking at the rest. No.
Well, but also, that being said, if we do that on Christmas, that's when the season's already almost over. That's way more concerning doing it a month from now than it is right now.
Yeah.
Especially assuming by then we've got Kirby, we've got Terry on, we've got, more of a idea of what team we're going to put in the playoffs. And if we blow it against Minnesota on Christmas, then we're probably really talking like, hey, there's a chance we don't even make it to the dance.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and how tough would that be to swallow? Back to the Lions offense, 5 for 12 on third down, which is not great. We need to be better on that. We were 2 for 4 in the red zone. We obviously need to be better there. And so I will say, when I look back at the stats, I realize we only ran the ball 20 times. I don't get that. Like, I don't understand why. I looked at Gibbs stuff, and I know he had those large runs. So okay, I took out the 2 49-yard runs and the 69-yard run. He still averaged 4.3 yards per carry if you take those runs out of there. So he was still having an awesome game, even if you took those long runs on there. But Um, I don't know. I don't know why we just didn't give it to Gibbs. And Monty only had five touches, 5 carries the whole game too. If you're worried about Goff getting hit, if you're worried about the timing and everything, putting Goff back for 42 snaps to pass when our run game is working as well as we should have expected against this 32nd ranked run defense. I don't get it.
That first touchdown drive, that's first and goal from the 1. And then we ran it with Monty the first time. He gets stuffed. And then we decided to throw it, which it resulted then, Goff ended up throwing a touchdown, but he had that intentional grounding, which I don't know if you saw that play live or you could tell. I don't know if it's Brock Wright. Somebody's wide open and he just panics and just whips it across the middle.
Yeah, I know.
But the point is, it's 2nd and 1. You think, okay, let's run it 4 times. 1st and 1, we're going to run it 4 times right at the middle. And I guarantee you one of them, David's going to go through. So it's just weird, 2nd and 1, and now we're going to try to throw.
Yeah.
I think every week we kind of say that, right? Like, why didn't we run the ball more? Why didn't we do more?
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy. And I don't want where we ran for as many yards as we did, but
there were plenty of times too when they were coming in tight to the line, and we would do pitch plays like Demo had a 9-yard run on a pitch play that ran out that netted a first down. And I told Preston early on, I'm like, they're going to be in trouble if they can't, get to the outside on these running back, because you get Gibbs on the outside, he makes one guy miss and he's shooting down the sideline. But he was able to go up the middle and do that with this defense. I just expected more out wide running, and I think it would have been very effective on this. And then, we could have kept the ball longer, get the time of possession, give our defense a little rest, because the defense played 82 snaps yesterday. I know it was an overtime game, but I mean, you're probably we were still in the low 70s probably for snaps. That's a lot of snaps to be on the field.
Yeah, Jack Campbell and Brian Branch both played all 82. And now they have to turn around on a huge game on Thursday and play every snap again.
Yep. El Bente is on the chat. Says just came from POD, so thanks for coming over. Goff is getting a hit a lot more than he was last year. Could have an effect, and I 100% agree that it's having an effect on this offense in general. Just the timing seems off on it, and Goff doesn't seem as comfortable. And you could say, well, Holmes should have saw this coming. Well, regardless, when we knew about Frank Ragnow, replacing Frank Ragnow was always going to be an issue. And but Graham just is not the answer. He's fine there, but he is not the long-term answer. We're going to need to figure out that center position next year, and either move Graham back over to guard, or whether that's Tate take at center, or we figure out another answer. But I don't believe that Graham is the answer next year at center. So I hope they get that figured out.
Agreed. I mean, Graham wasn't the answer at center when the season started, right? We
That's true.
thought that was a possibility, but we didn't think that wasn't the plan going in. We thought it was going to be Tate. Yeah, so maybe the center next year is not on the roster right now. I don't know if they're going to give Tate a full offseason to try to do that. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I do real quick want to talk about overtime, just the way the overtime went down. So the Giants won the coin toss.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're the Giants and you're away, you're on the road, do you think that they should have took the ball, or do you think that they should have let us? Obviously, we know what happened. They wanted us to have the ball first, and then we had that huge play. The roof got blown off of Ford Field, and that made their life harder after that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hindsight obviously is 2020, but just in general, for your opinion, you're on the road, you're in the situation, you're the Giants. Would you want to start with the ball, with the way that your offense was moving and everything, or do you think they made the right decision by trying to stop us first?
All right. So in general, I think getting the ball second's a better option, just because then you know what you could do, and then you could go for it on fourth down. Because if you look at what they did, they had that fourth down. They went for fourth down and 2 times in that last drive. The first time, I don't think they go for it. They probably punt the ball away had they got the ball first, because that's when James.
Yeah, it was 4th and 10.
Yeah, 4th and 10. It was way on their side of the field. They're not going to give the ball up there, because if they do, the Lions get they're already in field goal range, and we win that. So in general, I think that you take the ball. However, I know we scored in one play in 12 seconds, so it doesn't really apply in this case. But there is a scenario where the Lions get the ball and then we just run it every play and we just eat up a ton of clock, and then the Giants have it for 2 minutes, and then they got to get down the field real fast. So I could, if someone had that argument, I could see that I could go that way too. But in general, I think it's better. I don't care for your home or away. I think I just want to know what I need to get to. Now depends on my offense and my defense. Like the team that's making that decision. If I have a really good defense, maybe I want to put them out there too, just for a field position gain too. I'm not sure. So what's your feeling? I mean, as far as yesterday and just in general.
I go back and forth because in college, I think it's obvious like that you start defense first. Because in college, you each start with the ball at like the 20 or whatever, and you
Right.
just go back and forth on these drives, shorter drives. You want to know what you have to do on offense. But in
Mhm.
NFL, I definitely think there's more of, are you home? How is the game going? Do you have momentum? I think there's a lot more to it. And for us, like
Okay.
if we had won the coin toss, I would have wanted us to take the ball in that
Okay.
situation. Which obviously it worked out for us. But it's a funny thing that, I went back and looked at a lot of overtime games this year, and it seems to be a kind of a split 50-50. The team that wins does not always defer. It's not like a
Right.
foregone. You don't always just give the other team the ball. Sometimes they want to take it. I will say, I don't know if you saw this. The funny thing that kind of came out of this is that they go into overtime. The Giants win the toss, and they let the Lions have the ball. Giants defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence has to go use the bathroom real quick. So Dexter Lawrence is in the locker room, and Jahmyr Gibbs breaks off a run for a touchdown before Dexter Lawrence even gets out there for overtime.
I did not know that.
A Giants beat
Wow.
writer had shared that online that Dexter Lawrence had to go use the bathroom. And it was too late before he got out there. Jahmyr had already scored.
Oh my God. That's
So
crazy.
maybe check with your big defensive lineman that nobody has to go number 2 before you give the ball to Sonic.
Have a Lamar Jackson situation where you're getting carted,
Yeah.
they're doing the cart off situation. Um,
Right.
all right. So along the same lines, I have a question for you. This is not overtime, but this is the last. So the Lions score, get the field goal, right? And then there are 28 seconds left on the clock, and then we're kicking off to the Giants. Did you want us to kick it off where they could return it, or did you want Bates to do a touchback and then get it at the 35? What was your thoughts there?
That's a great question. I thought we were going to boot it out of the end zone. I
Hmm.
did not think we were going to allow them to return it. The way this season has gone and everything like that, I mean, maybe having Rodrigo out there, we fought a little bit better on the special teams. I I think it was just a matter of let's waste some more clock for them. But yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah,
What about
I
you?
was. They had 2 timeouts left, so, like, it is close. I like that burning some time, but, man, you run a risk if they get it out to they get out to midfield. Like, we've let some big returns go up this year. It's not like we haven't done that before, and I could see that, uh, you know, that'd have been a crazy decision, but it did burn off, like, I think 7 seconds of the clock, it burned off, and then
4
they didn't get
seconds.
very far.
It was
They didn't get up
28
to the 35.
seconds. 28 seconds, then it went to 24.
24, so 4 seconds, but then they didn't even get to the 35. And then they still had 2 timeouts. So yeah, I was okay. I think it's a 50-50 there. Because they still had 2 timeouts. They didn't have to get very. I mean, I guess I don't know what Young Wei Koo. He's not the most dangerous leg, but he still could kick it a
But
while
we're
way.
indoors.
We are indoors. You're 100% right. I Yeah, I don't know. I'm wishy-washy on it. I could go
Justin
either way
Tucker
on this.
flashback.
Yeah, well, I didn't even
Let's not even
I
leave
didn't
that
want
up
to
to
think about.
chance. Don't let him get close enough.
Speaking of Justin Tucker, did you see he got a tryout today with the Saints?
I didn't see who it was with, but I just saw Mina Kimes had shared. Like,
Yeah.
however they worded it, like, it wasn't a good look for them.
No. No. Yeah, and the way they tried to like justify it was funny is like they were like, I know he has some stuff that's uncomfortable in his past. Like, I think that's more than uncomfortable. It's
Yeah,
downright
right.
gross. Um,
Eh,
but yeah, I'm running out of like overall with this team. I keep thinking we're going to put it together week after week, and we're winning some games, but we haven't put it together yet. I'm not saying we can't, but we're running out of time to do this, and for me to feel good about it. Are you feeling the same way, or are you still thinking it's just a matter of time before we put it all together?
you're right. It's hard to say because just like I think the story of the Giants game was kind of the story of how the season is going, where it's like it just feels like at some point we're going to get this together. We're going to turn this around pretty quickly. We've got the team that can do it. It's going to be okay. But then we keep getting disappointed. It keeps being like on the edge. And it's not like we're getting blown away, but we are coming away with some of these wins, even feeling like, okay, that was not good enough.
Yep.
And some of the bigger wins that we've had, like honestly, the Bears probably looks like the best win just because of where they're at. And the Bears are, I still am not sold on the Bears. But
Yep.
the Ravens have had a long season. Browns not very good. The Bengals not very good. We lost the Chiefs. The Chiefs are not very good. The Buccaneers
Hmm.
kind of, are we thought they were. They're a decent team, but they don't. I mean, they're struggling too. We blew it against the Vikings. We beat the Commanders with Mariota. We fell flat against the Eagles, and now this game against the Giants. In my opinion, I think everything that happened to the 7-4 that we already have is all in the past. That's a wash. The story of the season is going to be these next 6 games, and
Hmm.
these are the biggest ones. Obviously, the end of the season is more important than the beginning of the season anyway. But we've hit that hump. We're over the hump. The time to start performing is going to be now. And I mean, I think I said at the beginning of the year I predicted 11-6, and looking at the schedule and looking where things lie right now, 11-6 is a lot less satisfying than it sounded at the beginning of the year. Because if we go in 11-6 now, we have to lose 2 of these games, and I would say the only games you'd feel better about losing at this point would probably be to the Rams and maybe the Steelers, right? You don't want to lose the
Yeah.
Packers. We can't lose the Cowboys. We definitely can't lose the Vikings or the Bears again. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's time to go all out.
Yep. Me too. All right. Couple things. First, roar alert. My roar alert was Gibbs. I couldn't have been more right on that one.
The
Your
roar
roar
alert
alert
of
was,
roar alerts.
yeah, exactly. He made the noise, and Ford Field made a lot of noise for him. It was quite loud in there when he broke loose there. Uh, you picked Monty. Uh, they just didn't give him the ball enough. I think that he could have been there. It just, Gibbs just had one of those games.
What I
We'll
was
go
talking
over to
about
the.
for Branch on defense is how I feel about Monty on offense. Something
Mhm.
feels off about that, and I think it's just him not getting the opportunities that he gets. And I can go right back to we gave him a goal line carry, but we gave him one chance. He got stuffed that one time, and then he doesn't get another carry. I thought for sure he was going to be the one that punched in the end zone right there.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
disappointing that he's not been more involved.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, they ask him about it, and Dan Campbell's like, "We got, yes, we want to get him on the field, but we're not going to take Gibbs off the way he's playing." I get it.
Right.
So great guarantee. I said the Lions would get 2 turnovers. We did get one interception. We did. Meek punched one out. We just didn't have anyone on that side of the field that could have got the ball, but he definitely punched that out. So I missed on that. However, Jacob missed in regular and the 4 quarters of the game, but man, he was right in overtime and hit that. He said we're going to have a 60+ yard TD, and yeah, 69 yards, and it was the game winner. So that was awesome.
If only I would have lowered that to like a 40 plus yard play, then I'd have been right several times.
I know. Yeah, it would have been. It would have made up for all your misses earlier in the year.
Ha!
So, final thoughts that I have: 9 penalties for 81 yards. That's terrible. We need to clean that up. It's just that's not Lions football. And I will tell you what's really strange to me is that when I look at our team, I don't feel like we have an identity. I really don't. Like each week, it seems like something else is happening. There's not much that I would like offensively. I mean, Gibbs is probably our identity, right? Like I feel comfortable about him, but even the Amon Ra Jared Goff connections iffy right now. Obviously, JMO can dominate, but he had really good last couple weeks, and then this past game was he was non-existent. Um, I just it even defensively, I think that we're good, but then we have a stinker like this. So, uh, in the years past, I felt like our identity was our offensive line and just be able to run the ball whenever we want at will, and that's no longer us. So I really struggle with our identity, and that's not good to me. And I think that's part of the reason why it's up and down each of these weeks because we don't have an identity. What do you think about that?
No, that's a fair critique. I think it would go a long way by having some like multiple 5 minute plus drives. It just seems like our drives are never long enough. There's just too many situations where we don't make the most out of field position or play calling. We call a couple like iffy plays back to back, and that ends up ruining the drive. Which obviously on
Penalty.
some of the plays, like penalties killing us. I mean, but some of these touchdown drives, like we had a 3 minute drive for a touchdown, a 1 minute 45 for a touchdown, 1 minute 26 for a touchdown. Obviously, the 18-second drive for the touchdown. So we're scoring on some of these drives. It just doesn't feel the same as when we're driving it and having a 5+ minute touchdown drive, right? That's when we're kind of like taking the will away from the other team.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. That's the offensive line that starts with the running game and being able to move the ball effectively. And we aren't doing that.
Yep. Yeah, having those long. I mean, even I would say it's happened this year at some point. Like the Ravens game was a game that we had long drives, able to run with Monty and stuff like that. It's that's the Gibbs is your home run hitter, but I would say that out of the two, Monty's going to consistently get you 4 yards, whereas Gibbs will get you. He seems to get stopped a little shorter, like 2 or 3 yards on some plays that maybe don't work out, but then he'll have the 49-yard run, and so you got to pick your poison there. But also, I think the advantage of having these longer drives, especially if we could run the ball, is to keep pressure off Goff. Like if they got to, commit more resources to stopping the rush, stopping the run. They can't rush the quarterback as much. Even having a good screen game, stuff like that, just to pull some pressure off of Goff. I would like to see more of that. Because our screen game, our wide receivers will block. You saw the screen to Amon Ra. We got in the end zone. Awashika is the one that really pushed them in the end zone on the replay. Man, he just really made a nice, he ran up and made a nice play on that. I was really happy to see that. And I want to say one more thing. Like we're looking at I looked over our schedule today. We've played right now. We've currently played against 5 playoff teams that are currently in the playoffs. We're 3-2 against those teams. Okay, the Packers have not beat a playoff team yet. The Bears, I don't think, have beat a playoff team yet. It's not over. I mean, we
that
have
hurts
some
because the Packers have not beat a playoff team, includes us.
Yeah, well, that's true, and it's true. But if you look at you look at the Packers' schedule coming up here. Okay, they have us, which obviously we're not in the playoffs, but we could be. Well, I mean, I guess
Right.
I'm assuming the 49ers are winning because technically we could be in the playoffs if the 49ers lose today. Oh, it's 17-3. So it's unlikely that we're going to be in the playoffs at the end of today. Now we could move into the playoffs on on Thanksgiving. So Packers play us. The following week they play the Bears, and then they play the Broncos, and then they play the Bears again, and then they play the Ravens. So they have, a really tough schedule coming up here. Um, those next 5 games, those are going to be critical for them. So hopefully we could see them be knocked down a notch. We got it, but we got to start that. We got to start by putting them in the L column on Thursday.
What if we have to root for the Packers to beat the Bears in December?
Yeah. Well, the way I look at it is like if we control our own destiny, then we can take care of it ourselves at the end of the season. I think the Bears are going to take care of it themselves. The Bears got to play the Eagles, which I think I know the Eagles just lost, but let's see. The Bears play. Let's see. They do play the Eagles on Black Friday, so they play them on Friday. Yeah, yeah. And then the Bears in a couple weeks got to play Shadur Sanders and the Browns. Shadur Sanders is totally, he's what
It's
they've
not a
been
gimme.
looking for. Yeah, he's what they've been looking for in Cleveland.
Hey, if he
lately,
can take
so.
care of the ball long enough for Myles Garrett and the defense to slow down the Bears,
Yep.
that's not.
Yep. Caleb Williams could probably. Hopefully maybe Miles will break the sack record against Caleb Williams. That could happen.
Yeah, right.
All right. Is there anything else that you want to cover before we head out of here?
Nope. Ready to move on.
Yep. We've said that a lot this year, and not even
Yeah.
just after losses. We've said that after some wins too. So,
True.
hopefully, we get it's short turnaround. We get this taste out of our mouth. We won, but we could really feel really good if we beat the Packers on Thursday. And frankly, it could look like this as long as we win. That's all that matters to me. Just put the Packers down.
Right. Hey, if you have everything about this game is the same, but it's Green Bay, we feel much better, right?
Yes.
It's because it was
Yes.
New York, the way it played out. If this happened against the Packers, it'd be even more hilarious.
Yeah, I know. So it'll be a good game. It's going to be loud at Ford Field. I get to see Jack White at halftime, which I was really happy when they announced Jack White was going to be there. That's a good halftime show, which will be great. So
you get to see the throwback uniforms. I don't know if you saw they did announce they're going to do the throwback.
They are, and I actually
just
was
like when you were younger.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited about it. I know you don't like them. You don't like those plain uniforms, but I am
not a fan.
They are very nostalgic for me because we used to wear them all the time on Thanksgiving when I was a kid, and I really liked them. And I just think of Barry Sanders when I think of those uniforms for whatever reason. So I do like them. I like those.
There's
black
nothing
jerseys.
different. It's not different enough for me. It's just like, hey, you know what? Let's take the logo off the helmet and the jersey, and we'll just have him wear the plain jersey. It just doesn't feel anything different.
Is it? I wonder if it's
Add
like
a different stripe or something.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if it's like I wonder if the blue's going to be different than because the blue is like a different shade usually. So I don't know if they're going to do that or if they're just going to do the regular blue jerseys. I'll be interested to see how that looks. But yeah, I'm okay with it. It doesn't matter. Anything to start something new. You're superstitious. You should like this. Just doing something different. That's maybe,
Oh, yeah, let's wear
going.
the throwback jerseys from when we were terrible for the last 30 years. Let's do that.
Oh, okay. I can
remember all those times you were a kid and we lost on Thanksgiving. Let's bring that back.
Yeah, no, actually, it seemed when I was in the '90s, it seemed like we would always upset a team on Thanksgiving. But then in the 2000s, it was not that way. It was like just another loss, It was bad. But beating the Packers on Thanksgiving, I am gonna have plenty of things to go around. Yeah, all right. For Jacob, I'm Jason. Let's go Lions.